Hello, and this video is going to be all about cardio for advanced fat loss. Now, you've been told probably forever and a day the process of weight loss and fat loss doesn't really need to include cardio. Well, I'm here to tell you that that's another myth, and that you do sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes, and it depends, which are the catch-all disclaimers, need to do cardio. So I'm going to talk a little bit about some of the cardio strategies, things that I've seen work over the last 27 years with helping to lose fat faster when you've attempted everything else. I mean everything. So let's focus right now on the top of the screen here as I look at the very hard, and moderate, easy, and very easy cardio. Now, I'm going to preface this with you are healthy, you do not have any orthopedic challenges, you are not carrying more than 50 pounds of additional body weight. In those particular instances, a medical examination, a release from a doctor, may be required. If after you've met with your fitness professional, you can attempt some of the things that I'm going to discuss today. Now, I'm going to break this up into pieces because it'll be a lot easier to digest, pardon the pun. So, that being said, you start an exercise program, you haven't exercised in quite some time, the need to address doing some basic conditioning to get the lower body ready, your mind wrapped around the fact that you're doing cardio. We need to do some basic things. And what I typically start most people with a recommended walking program. And the reason why I do this is I need to, one, develop some basic habits. You know, a lot of people, what ends up happening is they get overly excited about starting a program. They're not conditioned. They, either follow a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, read an article in Mademoiselle, Cosmo, Vogue about the best way to do something. And if they're not conditioned and they attempt something too aggressively, too soon, before their body's conditioned, they actually break down a tissue a lot faster, and the body can't adapt as fast as our attitudes or our behaviors want to see the change. So, with that being said, I pull back on the reins a little bit. I eliminate the bull in the china shop mentality and get people to understand that you didn't gain the weight overnight. We're going to have to take a little bit slower approach. So if you've slowly gained 10, 20 pounds per year over the last 5 years, next thing you know, you look down and you're 50 pounds to 100 pounds overweight. You can't expect that in a month you're going to lose all of that weight. So I start in a gradual progression, just like I do with the diet. The same process occurs with the conditioning of the body and the muscular system to prep you. Once we have those baselines in place and your body's demonstrating that it's healing well, you're adjusting the food, you're getting the rest, then we can start to move along the exercise continuum. So that being said, people have small dogs, large dogs, some people even walk their cats. When you go out for your walk, you want to find a area where you don't need to necessarily stop. Initially, if you're in an urban environment, you're going to have to walk the city streets until you can get to the area that you enjoy. I happen to live, a block or so away from the ocean, so it makes it very easy and convenient to walk along the shoreline. In a more suburb area, you might have a school, a university track, something like that, a hilly terrain that you could walk in. If you're subject to go to a treadmill in a local big box gym, my suggestion and what I'll talk about later is the use of the treadmill. But for most people, starting your conditioning program with about a 10 to 15 minute walk, if you're not conditioned and you have in excess of 50 to 100 pounds to walk, 10 to 15 minutes for you may be just right. For the individual that's more in the 20 to 30 pound range, let's get you at a 30-minute minimum. Let's walk 3 days a week to start for 30 minutes, then move to 4 days, then to 5 days, then to 6 days, and then moving from 30 to 40 to 50 and 60. Now, that'll be gradual. That should be assigned to you by your fitness professional. I can offer suggestions once I know more about your specific case, but again, this is generally speaking, and most everybody fits into the general category. I have very seldom run into that 1% of the population that can jump off the couch, run a marathon, be a world record holder in a sprint, eats perfectly, and has the body of a god or a goddess. So that being said, I have the permanent disclaimer tattooed on my face. When you meet me, love you to pieces, hugs and kisses. I mean you no harm, love everybody, but you gotta be smart so you can last. Life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And when it comes to cardio, you gotta plan for the long haul. But we can strip the fat faster. We just have to take initially a little bit of time. Let's go on to the next video.